The Accidental Entrepreneur is brought to you with the help of our sponsor, AWeber, the world's leading small business email marketing and automation service provider. Since 1998, AWeber has helped more than 1 million small businesses and entrepreneurs through its suite of web-based email marketing, automation tools, and education. AWeber, the best option when it comes to marketing your business. The podcast is also brought to you by the Alternative Board. Since 1989, the Alternative Board, or TAB, has been one of the leading peer advisory and business coaching organizations for independent business owners and CEOs across the world. By facilitating peer advisory boards, private one-on-one coaching, and strategic planning services, TAB helps business owners improve their businesses in ways that change their lives. And be sure to connect with our affiliate sponsor, GSM Growth Agency. They're boosting e-commerce businesses to 6 and 7 figures in revenue and cover everything from ads and social media influencers to making your website better. GSM Growth Agency focuses on taking businesses from startup success to bigger success, going above and beyond to make sure growth sticks around. They're all about cool ideas, lasting partnerships, and making your mark in the e-commerce world. And be sure to support the podcast by ordering some logo merchandise from our online store. Listen to all of our sponsors' commercials later in this episode and follow their links in the show notes to learn more about their products and services. All right. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Gonna have a great conversation with Adam today about his company. They're in the pitching industry, I guess, baseball industry. We're going to talk about that in a minute. If you are listening on your favorite directory, please leave us a 5-star review. And if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the channel, and so you can keep supporting us, and we'll keep connecting with great people like Adam. So let's get on with today's show.
The information provided in these episodes is for entertainment purposes only. It is not a guarantee of success or to be construed as advice of any kind. You should always seek advice from local licensed professionals before making any decisions.
The dictionary defines an entrepreneur as a person who organizes and manages any enterprise, especially a business, usually with considerable initiative and risk. People often start a business without much choice, perhaps due to a job loss or just being dissatisfied at work, and they come up with an idea they just know can be successful. They become entrepreneurs by accident. That is to say, their success or failure happens by accident, not with intention. My name is Mitch Beinhacker. I'm a corporate attorney and a business advisor. You're listening to The Accidental Entrepreneur, my podcast about how to achieve success on purpose, not by accident. Join me along with our monthly guests, where we share our knowledge and help you get a hold of your business. And now on to today's episode. All right, Adam, so thanks for connecting with me. I think through Podmatch I was checking, right? We connected through Podmatch?
I believe so, yes. Thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate it. I get a lot of good guests through Podmatch, so I appreciate them. They're a good website and to connect us. So we get people on that, they're coaches, they work in the SMB space, but we got real entrepreneur today, right? Who started and you guys invented a machine and the whole deal. So Adam, and it's funny, your last name's Battersby. I don't know if that's just a coincidence.
It definitely helps.
Yeah. But maybe we want to go back a little bit, talk about your background in business and training and then we can work up to how you got to doing what you're doing.
Yeah. So I went to Providence College, graduated with a business management degree, played sports all my life, football, wrestling, and baseball. My father actually coached me in a lot of the baseball, the lower levels for high school. And that's what kind of got us into the baseball pitching machine industry. All started in our backyard. We had a 2-wheel pitching machine. It was a great machine, but it was kind of hard to train against because it was hard to get your timing right. And also when you switch the pitches from curveball to fastball to slider, you knew what was coming. So that's what really started the idea of the ProBatter video pitching machine for baseball, softball, and cricket. Yeah.
So it was really that you were dissatisfied with. It wasn't like you're like, we're going to start a business. This is great. You were like dissatisfied with what the machines out there could do, basically, right?
Yeah. And basically, as a coach, you hold the ball up, you put it in the pitching machine. Sometimes it goes through smoothly. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you can't time the ball correctly. You're hitting off your front foot. You're not really loading properly. And then when you switch the pitches, you got to change the dials, tilt the pitch head. test the pitches, and at that time you know what's coming. So you don't learn how to hit the pitch. You just
Got it.
learn where to put the baseball bat, and that's where I had issues with the curveball and the breaking pitches, because not because of that reason, other reasons as well.
Right.
But that's why we found a need for the ProBatter machine.
Okay, so we can get into pitching and all that kind of stuff, but if you're starting a business like that, right? Is your dad an engineer? Or I mean, you had a business major. We know that you had an MBA, right, or
Yep.
undergraduate degree.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, where do you start? I mean, you have an older machine, third party. How do you start designing something like that? It's not like you just like go buy product and you open a store and now you're selling baseball equipment, right?
Yeah. So my father's actually a patent attorney by trade.
Okay,
So came up with
great.
the idea, ran a patent search, saw what was out there, did our research, hired an engineer, another engineer, and then about 8 engineers later, we finally got to where we had to be. But
Okay,
it took a while, a lot of research
right,
development, a lot of testing, a lot of, trial and error,
right.
and a lot of
Go
cost.
engineer. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So, well, I guess it helps though having a dad as a patent attorney, right? So first, you don't have that cost.
Yep.
Plus, you have someone to give you advice as to what's patentable, what's not, what
Sure.
infringes on other machines, right? I mean, that was
Yeah.
probably one of the issues, right? You couldn't take the mechanism out of a existing machine and then modify it and stick it into your machine. That would probably be some sort of violation of their patent, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So we came up with our own machine. We actually were the first company to have a 3-wheel pitching machine. On the market when we first started, there's only 2-wheel pitching machines or the arm style machine, which was spring loaded. So we
Right.
took it a step further, did 3 wheels, which would add more spin and breaking better breaking pitches. We added actuators into it, so a computerized database. So we really took it a step further.
So the wheels are the ones that like it grabs the ball and flips it, right?
Yep.
Spits it out to the batter. So now you're telling me there's 3 of them that spin the
Yes.
ball out?
Yep. So you have more realistic breaks and curves.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the metamorphosis of the business then. You start out, you spend all this money. It's probably a lot of money. You're paying engineers to do designs. Then they're doing prototypes, right? The
Yep.
stuff's working, stuff's not working, needs to be adjusted.
Mhm.
How long did that process take? The basically research and development, right? How long did that take?
It took probably about a year. You know,
Okay.
it took a while because our machine is fully programmable. So you have actuators, you have a whole database to control it.
Yeah.
With our machine, you have a big color touchscreen by the batter, and you can pick any one of 10 different pitches, any speed you want from 40 to 100 miles an hour, any location you want. You could do sequences, you could do all that stuff. So basically, you need computer guys, software guys, mechanical
Right.
engineers, electrical engineers. You need all that. And I mean, we had no background in developing baseball pitch machines, so it was a lot of learning ourselves, and a lot of testing, really.
Yeah. And all those features were like on the first generation machine?
Our first generation, yeah, which came out we started in '99.
Oh, wow,
Um,
you've been in business a long time.
yeah, 25 years, which is
Yeah.
kind of awesome.
Oh yeah, 20. This is so your guest, this is your 25th anniversary.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, it's kind of crazy if you think about
Yeah,
it.
goes a long way. How many changes to the machine or new generation machines have you come out with over the years? How many times have you changed the model, let's say?
Yeah. So we're on our third generation machine right now. When we
Okay.
first started, it was 75,000,
Right?
which was expensive.
Yeah.
Then it went down to 45,000 in 2006, and then about 4 years ago, we came out the new model called the PX3, and that sells right now for 27.5, and that's a top end model.
So you don't have the other ones aren't available anymore. You can't get.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We
And
stopped making them.
yeah, so what drove down the cost? Was it time, technology's changed, or have you negotiated better rates? Like, I'm curious about pricing and everything. I was talking to
Yeah, a
people.
lot of technology changes.
Yeah.
We hired more engineers and kind of
Okay.
figured out how to do stuff better. We made a whole list and said, this can be downgraded. This motor's too big. We can go to a smaller motor, smaller actuator. We don't need all this stuff.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, trial and error. So I
Yeah.
guess it was harder. Like you had to have bigger companies that were buying these things for like bigger, coaching schools or whatever when it's 75 grand. They buy like one machine, now they can buy three.
Yeah, and the biggest thing was when we came out, it was $75,000, and the next most expensive pitching machine in the market was like 6,000.
Six
So
grand?
yeah, so everyone's
Yeah.
like, well, why am I spending $75,000?
How much better could it be?
Exactly.
10 times better, 15 times better? Yeah.
Yeah, and we approached Major League Baseball. Our first customer was the Chicago White Sox. That's great. Major League Baseball can buy the machine, but there's only 32 teams. So
Right.
the market is not that big, you know? So yeah, so then we sold lots of commercial batting cages. We had to get creative with payment plans and how to teach or coach the customer how to make money off the machines, what to do to, rent them out and do memberships and all that stuff. So it was a challenge at first.
Was beyond the price, was the sales side of it easier? I mean, did people really get the problems with the other machines and how this solved those things, or was that an uphill battle too in terms of educating the customer?
No, everyone kind of realized that. A lot of players don't like pitching machines because of that reason.
Okay.
So in that respect, it was easy that way. It just, and everyone loved our machine.
Right.
Yeah. And everyone loved our machine because it's really a cool product. I mean, it has a big video screen of a pitcher winding up and the ball comes out. So everywhere we went to give demos, I mean, everyone, huddled around, saw the machine, their mouths dropped, everyone loved the machine. It was just getting over the price tag.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. If you're a local batting cage, right? And you want to know, well, what's that going to bring me? How much more can I charge people to use it, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, that type of stuff. That's interesting. So how did you get in? Did you have an in with the White Sox? How did you get in with them?
I forgot how we got into them because I graduated in 2001. So that sale was before.
Cool. Got it.
Yeah. But we had a lot of sales guys throughout the way, did a lot of marketing. I mean, Major League Baseball is a tough market to sell to because they don't really pick up the phone that often.
I'm sure they don't.
Yeah. So I think the winter meetings helped. It's a big trade show around the winter meetings for Major League and Minor League Baseball. And when we first started, we had 20 by 80 booths at all these trade shows, which are great. You had a whole machine throwing pitches, but they're very expensive.
The booths.
Yes, to staff it, to ship it, to everything. So you really had to sell machines at these trade shows, or you're down a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember those booths. Like first, you got to pay to have them made, and then you can't bring it yourself and set it up. You need to pay somebody with a crew to come in, and it's too big, right? 20 by 80, it's long enough to hit a ball, right?
Yeah. And then you got to pay once the machine gets delivered to the loading dock. You got to pay someone to bring it to your booth and then back. So it's.
So do you remember how you guys financed this in the old days? Was it your dad's money? Did you raise capital?
Some of my dad's money, we raised capital. We had some investors, got some loans. It was more than we anticipated.
Right.
So kind of all the above. Yeah.
And this was started, you said a year of development. You were still in school at this point, right?
Yes, correct.
You're like working with him while you're at school, and he's obviously running his practice too at the same time.
Correct.
Right?
He was working long hours. Yep.
Yeah. So it's hard, to people to stay committed to this. Not a lot of people like invent a machine and start out, and they 25 years later, they're still in business.
Yeah.
That's a lot I got a lot of people coming to the show, 2 to 5 years out of business or really struggling. It's tough. You never took a job out of school. Like this was it.
Yeah, this was it. I graduated, I think, on a Wednesday. My dad said, I'll see you in the office on Friday. One day to pack up.
So do you guys have any other owners of the company, or is it just two of you now? Everybody's been paid off, everybody's been bought out, or there's still investors in the company?
There's some minor investors, but me and my dad hold the majority of it.
Got it.
Yeah.
And have you had to raise additional capital over the years, or that was only in the beginning, early days?
In the beginning, more. During COVID, we welcomed those government checks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hard. We couldn't sell to any of our markets. The gyms and training centers are closed down. Major League Baseball, colleges.
Of course, nobody was in school. They were all shut down.
Yeah.
Sales stopped, right? They just stopped completely.
Exactly. Yep. And actually, we came out with our new model right before COVID.
Okay.
Started shipping it out, and then it kind of gave us some time to work out a couple of things, some not bugs, but some things that we would work out. that was a good thing. The bad thing was we couldn't ship, so it
Right.
was, you know,
Where's the machine manufactured, overseas or in the United States?
in the United States. Yeah,
Okay,
we
but
used
your
to do it.
factory had closed, right? It was
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, right, of course.
yeah. We used to do it in house. Then we had a
Yeah,
guy in New Jersey do it, and then now Foxconn, who's the largest contract manufacturer, they now manufacture our machine.
got it.
So they're making our life a lot easier because now we have to just
Right.
take orders and send it their way, and then they pack, ship, and test, and that's it.
And you were able to keep it all in the United States, no overseas. Maybe some of the parts come from overseas, but that's up
Correct.
to
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Able to, if you went overseas, would that lower your price point a lot, or
We looked into it.
quality
Some,
maybe?
yeah, some of our parts do come from overseas. It just we don't do the volume to manufacture it overseas.
Got it.
Um, yeah,
Got
we
it.
looked
Got it.
into it.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so let's go back a little bit. So, in the early days, you come out of school, you're, you got to be a little bit wet behind the ears, right? I mean,
Oh
just come
yeah.
out of school, no life experience, whatever. You
Yep.
get into this thing. So, do you remember like what it was like in terms of learning how to be a business guy and run the business? And I mean, your dad's a lawyer, and I'm a lawyer too, but that doesn't mean we know how to run businesses, right? We do. I mean, I'm a business attorney, so I do, but I've been doing
Yep.
this 30 years. Your dad's a patent attorney, has a lot of experience. So, how did you do that? Did you go out and hire people?
Yes.
You remember that process?
Yeah. So yeah, we had someone running the day to day. One of my dad's old buddies, who had experience, and I was primarily in sales. And like you
Yeah,
said, coming out of college, trying to sell a $75,000 pitch machine,
that's a
I,
challenge.
yeah, I got hung up a lot. And a couple of
Yeah,
days, I'm like, is this really what I want to do with my life? And
yeah.
because I don't care who you are when you get hung up on nonstop.
Especially if you're 23 years old, it's a little daunting.
Exactly. But when he did make a sale, a $75,000 sale at 23, it was pretty
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah, yeah. So that's what it was. You were like starting out cold, calling people, or maybe some connections you had. I mean,
Yeah.
let's see, 1999. Yeah, there was no LinkedIn, there was no social media. You weren't
Yeah.
connecting with people that way.
Yeah.
Barely. What were the internet was like early 90s, so it was just really getting started. So you had to pick up the phone and knock on
Yeah.
people's doors.
Yeah. And then what we did was we had a demo machine in the back of a small trailer. So I took
Okay.
that on the road a lot. Just cold call someone. They said, well, I got to see this before, I buy it.
Yeah,
I got to test
run
drive
into
it.
the parking lot. We got one
Yeah.
right here.
That's what I did. And I drove it all around. I mean, I drove to California from Connecticut down
Yeah,
Arizona,
yeah.
everywhere. Yeah, I lived at
Be, be on the road. So this trailer was something where you go in, you could hit the ball in the trailer, or you had to take the thing out.
Oh no! So the machine stayed in the back of the trailer, and then we had an inflatable batting cage, which came out the back of it
Got it.
with the
Got it.
generator, so we could take it anywhere, do
Right.
events, demos. Yeah,
Hey, not hitting the ball over their building. You got to catch the ball
yeah,
in the cage, right?
yeah,
Yeah. But I guess you're 23 years old. If you got enough, like, if you're not too introverted, right? A lot of people come out of college and they're like, forget about it. You can't put them in front of people, and you're willing
yeah,
to. I guess you knew you were a sports guy, right? You were a baseball player, so that wasn't new to you.
yep,
So, do you remember? I'm always curious about this, right? Because you develop obviously a sales pitch
hmm
from doing it over and over and over, and what works and and you're smoother and flu. Do you remember at the beginning, like how you started out and how you started getting more comfortable with you making a presentation to basically adults, right? You're a kid
yeah,
at that point. Do you remember that
yeah.
whole process? It's hard for people.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you just cold call someone, and then if they give you a couple minutes, you have a decent lead.
Yeah.
Then you work from there. But a lot of times they just say, "What's the price?" No, not interested. So when you do get a warm one, yeah.
So who are you calling on?
Commercial batting cages and training centers, that's our number one market by far. But
Right.
then colleges, Major League Baseball, minor league baseball.
Right.
I mean, Major League Baseball is a tough market. There's a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
They don't always take the calls. You really need to know someone, to
If
get
you don't
into
show up
it.
at the stadium and knock on their door, they're going to let you into the
No,
offices. But now, what
yeah.
about like commercial batting cages? I would think a lot of them are like absentee owners. They got managers there, and you're not getting to the right person. No.
No, a lot of them are old baseball players that just love
Okay.
the game. They don't want to leave the game, and they
Yeah.
give lessons day in day out. And yeah, so I mean, and there a lot of them are at the facility for long hours. So But the problem is they cater to the high school kids, so they're open from 4 to 9. So when you go on the
Right.
road, you got to hit, the later part of the day, but which is
Right.
fine.
Yeah, right. It's not like you can start seeing people at 9 and see 12 people in a day. They're only open,
Yeah,
and they're probably busy, right?
they are busy. And they're also
Yeah.
spread apart too. So you can hit one, drive a half an hour, hit another one. It's not like you knock out, 20 calls in one day or
Right.
visits in one day.
So how do you do your sales now? You got guys on the road, or I mean, it's a whole different world now. So
Yeah, so right now we hired a sales network group, and they helped us basically develop a sales network.
right,
All outside sales reps.
like a
Um,
dealer network type of a thing, kind of
Kind
that,
of,
or
yeah,
sales reps or something.
yeah. So I mean, they
Right.
they sell a whole lot of different products. So they're on the road in front of coaches a lot. We do a lot of sales from in house. I still do a lot of selling. Trade shows we go to and try to get in front of people. We do a lot of email marketing, mail marketing, all that stuff.
Right, right.
Yeah,
You
get a
so
lot
you
of leads.
go to the trade shows yourself?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I enjoy them. Yeah,
Yeah. So is that your biggest role is business development, sales and business development? Is that your
pretty
biggest?
much. Yeah, yeah.
Got it. Got it. Who runs the day to day? Is your dad still involved in the business, or he's out being a patent attorney?
He is involved, but not day to day. So he sees all the reports, the numbers, all that stuff. He's involved. He's on some of the Zoom calls, but he's kind of winding down his law practice, but he's kind of goes back and forth.
Right. Well, you made him rich, so he doesn't have to be a lawyer anymore, right?
Yeah,
So,
I think the
so,
lawyer
so
part made him rich.
do you do you have an operations guy now, like inside guy who runs the business, or you got to do that too?
I do a lot of that myself as well. Yeah.
Right. How many employees
Yes.
do you have, Adam?
We're small, but we outsource everything. So it's
Yeah.
only like 4 or 5 of us, but we outsource all manufacturing, engineering. We have PR,
Right.
marketing. We outsource all that stuff.
Meeting with people and supervising them, making sure they're doing their job, and stuff keeps moving along, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. 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 So what would you? I mean, and you've been doing this 25 years. So in the earlier days, right? Because it seems to me like it's a different sales process because you have a different kind of product now that is more accessible to a smaller business owner, right? Who's got a
Yep.
commercial batting cage than it was back then,
Mm-hmm.
right? 75 grand is a lot of money to a lot of
A
people.
lot of money. Yes.
Even if they could finance it, they want to know, well, is this going to pay off or not, right? So it's
Yeah.
tough
Yeah.
to sell. So let's say the first iteration of the product, do you remember like what kind of challenges you had from a business standpoint, like things you do differently, what you learned then that brought you to phase 2, that brought you to phase 3? I'm always curious. We got business owners that listen and they're always curious as to, okay, well, how did you get 25 years? Most people don't. You and I both know
Yeah.
that, right?
We had to get creative. We had to get really creative in our sales pitch and how to market and get our name out. No one knew about us or knew about the video pitch machine aspect before, so we had to do.
Right.
I mean, it was a lot of marketing, a lot of cold calling, a lot of demos. Just keep on grinding, basically.
Right. What
And
mistakes do you think you made along the way that you would have done differently or that you learned from? I would be better.
probably would have tried to get a cheaper machine out in the market first.
Yeah, right.
Spend
But
maybe.
I don't know if you could have done that then, right? I mean, it was early on. It was a different world. The products, I
Yeah.
mean, could you have
Yeah.
done it less expensively in the early days?
Possibly, maybe with maybe hire another engineer, and try to do it that way. Because also, when we first started, we're only selling, I don't know, 15, 20 machines a year.
Right.
So it was
Because
smaller. So yeah, the volume
yeah,
wasn't there. We couldn't negotiate deals. We're a brand new company.
yeah,
But then the more you're selling, the more you can negotiate, get better terms, and all that. But when you start off, it's tough.
yeah, yeah. And I would think if I'm a business owner, I'm investing 75 grand in a machine, and been in business for 4 or 5 years. I might think you could be out of business in 3 years, and then who's going to service this machine? What am I going to do? I got $75,000 worth of junk.
It's a concern. I totally get it. But I think what helped a lot was again the cool factor.
Yeah,
The machine, it's an awesome
everyone.
machine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and all these kids they play video games, so when they see the big video picture, before the ball comes out, it's
Right.
fun. And I used to come back from college and test the machine. I used to hit for hours and hours and hours because you try to crank it up and like, can I hit a curveball? Can I hit a fastball? It's on 100 miles an hour. Can I do
Right.
this? and you keep on challenging yourself. And that's what kind of just fueled it, and just we kept on going with it. And the feedback we got was really positive from all different levels.
Yeah.
So, just you got to keep at it.
Yeah. It seems to me like it fits in the world of like the golf simulators, right?
Yeah.
But it's backwards. The ball's coming out. But the golf
Yeah.
simulator, you're hitting the ball, it hits the screen, and it keeps going
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
screen, right? Yours
And,
don't do that, obviously.
yeah. And I tell you what, there's technology now. A lot of the golf simulator companies are now getting to baseball, and they're doing the ball tracking stuff. So they have the exit velocity, how far it goes, spin rates, all that stuff. So when you
Right.
combine our system with those systems, it's awesome. It's like a huge golf simulator. You can challenge yourself. You can hit in Fenway, Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
Um,
right. It's all
yeah,
video. Now, are you
yeah.
looking into that kind of technology for the future and future versions of the machine?
We aren't. We thought about it. It just there was some big players in the market, and then now it's saturated. So
you're better off just partnering or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll do that. All right. So, what have you found as not as with regard to the machine? I'm saying as running a business, as being an entrepreneur, as being a business owner, some of the more challenging things, because you've been doing this a while now, so you can look back and have an opinion about it. It's not like you've been doing this for 3 years. So I'm curious as to what, looking back, you would say they've gotten better at, have been challenging business-wise.
I think I definitely got better at business, being a small business owner, because you have constant challenges. You have machines that don't work, and angry customers, and you gotta,
Right.
you gotta be on top of everything. You gotta make sure that you have a good staff. If you don't, we had a really good staff, years ago. Engineers are very good, design engineers, service guys, and they were great. And then all of a sudden, before COVID hit, you lost a lot of it, and then you realize that good employees they're great. You can trust them. You can do your own thing because you have trust in to get the job done. But and now we're back there too with great employees again. But that is definitely number one. Cheap help is very expensive.
Yeah. Do you find that I have a lot of guys on? We talk about leadership and ability to kind of. It's a funny word, right? You think of leadership as like Microsoft and IBM, but it's not really, right? It applies to your people knowing what they're doing and buying into your vision and supporting the company, all knowing what they're doing. Have you found that to be like, have you gotten good at that in terms of, motivating, guiding people to do the things they're supposed to do? Or have you found that to be challenging?
It's something I have to work on better. I think I've gotten better at it, but admittedly, I mean, it's sometimes you have a bad day. Sometimes, you're and you gotta hold your head up and, still lead and get everyone, amped up for the day. And so they're productive. And because if you're not a good leader, they're not going to want to work for you. They're not going to want to work late, weekends, nights, all that stuff. So you have to be a good leader, if you want a good crew.
Right. Okay. Why don't we take a few minute commercial break, and then we come back. I'd like to talk about planning. Like, what kind of strategic planning do you guys do, from a sales forecasting, operation, to changing the product, to all that kind of stuff? Because I'm always curious as to how people do it. Do they just do it in their head? Do they actually have a written plan? Do they do it as a team, and so forth? So let's take a break, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about that stuff.
Sounds good.
Here's a word from our sponsors.
Looking to market and grow your business? Or perhaps you're just getting started and want to hit the ground running? AWeber is the best choice for online email marketing and automation of your business. From maintaining a subscriber list to drip campaigns and landing pages, AWeber gives you tools and integrations that make marketing easy and fun. As our partner and sponsor, we use all their tools to promote the podcast and market our law firm. AWeber, the best alternative for online marketing. For over 30 years, the Alternative Board, or TAB, has built a thriving community of forward-thinking CEOs and business owners who want to radically improve their companies. Through unique combinations of one-on-one business coaching, participation in monthly TAB board meetings with other non-competing owners, a suite of strategic tools, and customized strategic planning workshops, TAB membership can deliver greater strength to your business and a better work-life balance for you and your family. all packaged in a streamlined and affordable service that the people at Tab invite you to try risk-free. Are you struggling with managing advertising due to a lack of time or expertise? Perhaps you're facing challenges in scaling ads for your store. Are you feeling lost when strategies have no success? GSM Growth Agency is your reliable partner in overcoming these business challenges. Feel the impact of collaborating with a team dedicated not only to short-term goals, but also to building long-term partnerships and achieving sustained success. Embark on an exciting journey to redefine the possibilities of e-commerce and create a legacy of unparalleled excellence. Take decisive action now. Follow their link in the show notes to receive a complimentary audit of your Shopify store conducted by a GSM expert. Propel your e-commerce game to new heights with GSM Growth Agency. Follow the link in the show notes to learn more about all of our sponsors. And now back to our show.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. Got to give some props to the people that pay us a little bit of money, so it's always good.
Yes, we were getting into before about, like, running the business, strategic planning.
Yep.
Do you remember at the beginning, did you even write a business plan or how you started
Yes.
doing it? Yeah, so you did. You wrote a business plan. You and your dad sat down and said, this is how we're going to do this.
Yeah, you had to for the loans, yeah. But business plan, it was the market size, yeah.
Right. But people don't do it, Adam. I mean, they start a business and they're just like winging it. And that's how they don't make it 25 years, by the way.
Yeah, some people could do that. God bless them.
Especially in this business, you have research and development, developing the product, you have all these different moving parts that,
Yeah.
to make this thing come together. So what do you do now in terms of growth and development and, dealing with employees and the strategic planning that you guys do? How do you do that process?
Yeah, I mean, we're always planning the next machine, the how to improve our current machine, how to take costs out of it, how to make it better, perform better, all that stuff. We came out with a new machine 4 or 5 years ago, and we're still testing, new motors. We're adding new picture videos on the video screen, so the same batter is not facing the same pictures. We just did a new video shoot with 9 new softball players. So that'll be released soon. Came out with software.
So does softballs and baseballs?
Yeah, softball, baseball, and cricket. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, cricket.
Yeah.
I don't even understand cricket. I watch it all the time. I'm like, I don't get it.
It took me a little while to understand it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a fun market.
Cricket, you bounce the ball right? Don't you? Okay, so the machine then just bounces the ball. It's just set up a little bit different.
Yeah, it's the same machine, 3-hole pitch machine controlled by big color touchscreen, but it has a whole different pitch database on it. So, like you said, they all bounce and have funky spins and different video images, of batsmen, not pitchers, batsmen running up and throwing. But
I hate to say this, is that a small market or is it a bigger market than baseball?
Well, cricket is the number 2 sport in the world behind soccer. You would never know it.
I know, but it's the other part of the world. We don't, we're very Americans.
Yeah, like India, over there, Australia, New Zealand. I mean, huge.
Yeah. So you're selling a lot of machines over there, overseas?
I want to say a lot. So it was actually a funny machine that came out. The cricket coaches came to America to see how major league players train in spring training. One of the coaches saw our machine. They came to us. They said, "Can we do this?" We said, "We can, but we need help, developing these pitch databases."
Right. We don't in the sport.
Yeah, we're baseball guys. So we sat down with cricket, the ECB, which is, the national team in the UK. Okay. They helped us develop the machine. And then one of the coaches went to Australia, then Cricket Australia, which is the Australian national team. They bought 2. And then we sold to the International Cricket Council in Dubai, New Zealand, India. Yeah.
So you really kind of fell into it.
We did. And it was a nice fall, if you will.
Yeah. But is it just the software that has to be modified, or the whole machine has to be modified? Well, maybe not. It's just the angle of the ball, right, and the size of the ball. The rest of it is
the actuators do it all because they tilt the pitch head down, but you need new video images, new database, and their arm is straight up, not like baseball when they throw it, so you have to raise the machine a little bit. But just minor stuff, nothing that was major.
Most of it's software.
Yeah,
Most of it's data
correct.
and software,
Yeah.
right? It's the way everything is. Was it like that at the beginning? Most of it was data and software, or because the world was different in 1999, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, it was well, a lot of software too. Yeah, for the whole pitch database. But it's funny because the video images that we used, they were the quality
terrible.
stunk.
Yeah, because it wasn't available. It was really expensive, right, to do really
Yeah,
high quality video.
yeah, and the
Yeah,
projector that we used at the time was like 2,000 lumens for like $2,000, and then now
yeah.
it's 5,000 lumens for $500, whatever. It's crazy.
I know. Well, that's what happens with technology. So,
Yeah.
are the machines updated? Like, are they on? This wasn't available in 1999. Are they online now, where you update software on a regular basis for these machines, or not really?
No, not really. We're not like Apple. It's pretty much standard.
You don't need to push out updates all
Yeah,
the
yeah, but our kiosks, our touchscreen kiosks, we can remote into them, so we can update stuff or make changes or tweaks
right.
or or service. We can do that.
There's a kiosk that attach to the machine. That's where they're picking the pitches and
Correct.
stuff like that, and then you
Yep.
can
Yep.
have to.
Hmm.
Very good. Very good. So, do you outsource? I think you said this before, that you outsource you're using another organization to help with the sales and find the reps and things like that, right?
Yeah. So they found a bunch of reps. We also just found reps through LinkedIn, word of mouth. Some of our customers help us sell, which is kind of a little tricky because our customers don't really like to sell because they don't want competition. But
Yeah.
some of them will help us, and actually, that's another thing. A lot of our customers have been really nice to us. Someone wants to see a machine, they'll open their doors to these prospective customers, let them see the machine, use the
Yeah.
machine, check it out, and they'll also
Yeah.
talk to them about business and how to run it, how to sell it.
Right.
So
You
they've
mean
been
because
really,
they're in Wisconsin and you're in Connecticut, and they're not coming to Connecticut to see the machine, so
exactly.
go there. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had an office ways back that had, I remember, glass modular walls in the company, so they would call us every once in a while when they had somebody wanted to see the stuff being used and we'd say, sure, come on in, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it promotes you. So what do you guys?
Yeah.
Nice that they do that.
Yeah.
So do you also do, you're saying about modifications, things you plan on, is you have in-house engineers still, or that's also outsourced now?
We outsource everything. So we have,
A
some of
firm,
our guys have been with us for 20 plus years, software guys, electrical
right?
engineers. Some of our old employees still help us out on the side because they know the pitch machine market, and um, we just enjoy working with them. So, well, we have a whole team of them. I mean, there's
But they're remote. They're not in the office.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
Right. How about the manufacturer? Do you have to be there a lot to supervise them with
No,
because they're putting together, aren't they building the machine on your spec?
correct. They are. But Foxconn is. They do all the iPhones, the iPads. I mean, they're huge. They're like, I think, a $5 billion company.
Right.
So luckily, we have weekly Zoom meetings with them, with all their engineers, with their production guys, and we're all on the same page. A lot of calls back and forth, emails. So they're really good to work with, and it's helped us out a ton.
Quality control has been good, meaning you don't get machines delivered and there's problems.
We are still working to further testing to make sure little things have with anything have happened.
Right.
And an extra hour testing is always will save you a lot of money in the long run.
Right. Yeah, I think it's one of the advantages of not dealing with somebody overseas, right? Because I've worked with some, I guess, more e-commerce companies, but companies that are having things manufactured overseas, and they get a sample in and it's great, it looks great, and then they find out 3 months later these products are being shipped to customers. It's not even close.
Yeah, yeah,
What they were buying,
yeah.
you know.
And we've had runs of motors from overseas that some are great, some weren't as great. They try to save, they'll save a half a penny on a motor if they can, but the quality will dip down. So
Right.
we really have to test them. Even though they test them, we have to test them as well. Do some
Yeah.
quality control on them.
Right. And the machines get installed, right? Like you have to send, or it just gets delivered, and you're like, here's the instruction book.
Yeah. So when we first started the first 15 years, we
Yeah.
always installed the machines for the customers.
Yeah.
It was great. Right off the bat, you knew the machine worked. You showed them how to use it. but the guys would be on the road every single week.
Right.
It was a grind for them, and it wore them down. They never saw their families. And
Yeah.
then it's great if you're young with no kids, or older, with the kids that have grown up. But if you have kids,
You
it's
want
hard to be away all the
right.
time.
Yeah.
So now the new machines are do-it-yourself installation. We have a great installation guide. We're in the
Uh-huh.
middle of making a video, like a YouTube video, instructional video. And with technology now, with the Zooms, we just set up a Zoom call. If someone needs help, get some eyes on it, show them how to do it.
Yeah. The
So it's
world
not too bad.
grew to help you. It was helpful the way things developed because now it's much easier. I mean, you can't send a guy to Australia or New Zealand to install a cricket machine. I mean, you could, but it's
Yeah,
expensive.
it was very expensive. And then when they got back, they were fried because the
Yeah.
time difference, the jet lag, and then they had to get on a plane. So it was tough.
Yeah. Yeah. So are sales people all commission based, or they get a base salary? How does that work? I don't know how the sales
It's a mix. All the outside guys are all commission. Yeah.
right, but they're selling multiple things. They're not just selling your products, right? So,
Yeah.
but it's in the space. Like you don't have a guy like selling umbrellas, and he's selling a pitching machine, right?
A few guys came across our desk that had a wide range of products they were selling. They're baseball guys, but they also were good at other stuff. So we said fine. Um,
Right.
but a
Also
lot,
baseball.
yeah, a lot of the other guys are sport specific.
Right. So who does the internal stuff like the books, payroll? Because you do have some employees, right?
Yeah, we have a full time bookkeeper.
Benefits, all that kind of stuff. So who does? You have a bookkeeper that keeps the books, but who manages like the HR and the diff, back and forth?
A lot of it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it's me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you enjoy that part of the business?
Mm. It's long hours. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is, but sometimes,
Hate
get,
here, right? Because you got to do all your taxes and you got to get that to your. I mean, hopefully your bookkeeper's good, right? So then
yeah,
there's the book, the accountant, and you don't have to worry about it too much. But
yeah. She's good at that. And we have an outside accountant that does all that stuff. So I don't have to worry about that.
now, do
Um,
you have 1099 all your salespeople, or is that done through the organization that you outsource to?
it depends if they're independent or if they're working for a different company. But yeah,
So
yeah,
both, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Have you found from a business standpoint that outsourcing things has helped the business in terms of cost management, growth, all those types of things? Because everybody feels differently about, I want everybody in house, but there's other problems with that.
Yeah, I'm an in-house type of guy for the most part.
Yeah.
I work from home 2 days a week just because my house is wide open then, and I can get a lot of stuff done. Tuesday through Thursday, I have 3 kids, and they're home, and
Yeah, you get nothing done, right?
nothing done. Yeah, between Coco Melon and whatever, so and crying and fighting, whatever. So,
Yeah.
but I like people in the office. Now, if they're trustworthy and they're in sales and they're on the road a lot, fine, go for it. I can see your numbers, I can see your sales forecast, all that stuff.
Right. It's numbers. Are they doing
Yeah,
it or not? You know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the outside sales reps, some are great, some not so great, but they don't cost you anything. So as long as they don't interfere or mess up sales, then it's fine.
Bad mouth the business.
Yeah,
I mean,
or just
unless you
fumble it.
out there just doing nothing. Right. I
Yeah,
mean, at some point you say to the organization, hey, this guy's not cutting it. Let's replace him with somebody else.
yeah. But I mean, if they're like I said, if they're not fumbling the deal and not basically making the company look bad or sound bad, then it doesn't really
Doesn't
hurt.
like you're with a truck full of material of equipment and you got to get that back and get it to somebody else who's going to sell it. It does
Yeah, yeah.
not
But
happen.
sometimes, these guys out in the middle of nowhere where we can't hit anywhere. So they'll go to a facility, pitch a product, and no one else would pitch it or no one else would be local to them.
Right.
And if the guy likes it, I mean, we could always back the guy up, a sales guy up and help him out and help the sales pitch, do a Zoom call with the three of us. I can help with the demo, so the guy can see it.
Well, they're not
And
driving around with trailers anymore, right? I mean, they're not
no,
doing
no,
that.
no, we have enough machines spread out through the world that we can send someone within usually an hour or 2 hours to see a machine.
Right. So they can see it on video first and then,
Yeah.
yes, that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
have a nice demo video with shows how the machine works. We have pictures, all that stuff. So we send out a nice package.
Yeah. All right. So you and I both know that 2 to 5 years is like the critical time for businesses, right? A lot of businesses fail, and that doesn't even include the ones that make it 2 to 5 years but still struggle
Yeah.
along the way. What would you think got you to where you are now? I mean, 25 years is a long time. You weren't even sure you wanted to do this coming out of school. You're like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
What do you think got you this far in such a small group of people that get this far with a business?
I think it's just a product. I mean, it's a cool product, every time you show it off at a trade show or, or just in person or demo, I mean, people just love it.
Yeah.
So it is expensive. Not everyone's, a qualified buyer, but it's a fun machine, and and if I don't sell this ProBatter machine, what else am I going to sell? A piece of paper or like,
Yeah.
something
You're a
less
sales.
exciting. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
Now,
we just,
yeah, go ahead.
no, we just stuck it out. I mean, back to the cool product. I mean, we just, the feedback has fueled us more, and the success stories, and we had a lot of major league players, come to us and they love the product. They say it helps them get better in the off season. The
Right.
minor league players, especially because if you get drafted from, say, a college team or a high school team, you don't see the nasty pitches that we can offer. So it helps them get better quicker to become a major league player. And
Okay.
when some of these guys, their fathers buy the machine, a high school kid a machine, they'll then get $1 million signing bonus, by Major League Baseball, and then that's a great success story. It helps us get, keep on going with it.
Yeah. Now, do you remember going back how long it took you to become profitable? Like when,
It took us a
obviously
little while,
you remember how many years it was?
a few years.
Yeah. Was
Yeah.
it farther than you had projected? Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was hard. That's why a lot of business owners don't make it, because
Yeah.
they just can't, they don't have enough staying power.
Yeah. Yeah. It was tough. I mean, like I said, Major League Baseball is 32 teams. So if you hit all 32 teams and they're minor league teams, you have to branch out.
Yeah. You can't get in.
Yeah. And there's
Yeah.
thousands of indoor commercial and training centers, but you need time to develop a database, to get all their information, to call them, to do it, whatever. So,
Right.
and a lot of our eggs were in one basket, which was, engineering, research development, product development. So it was
Right.
hard. And also when we first started, we didn't really know what kind of salesperson to hire. So we had a lot of high school coaches or ex-coaches who, they wore sweatpants and
Yeah.
they didn't have that sales background. They didn't have, so it was a lot of puddles we stepped in, if you will.
Right. Plus, how many commercial facilities could afford a $75,000 machine? I'm sure that narrowed the market a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Find the right one. The local little batting cage, not going to buy a machine like that. They can't afford it.
Yeah. A lot of them are mom and dad pop, mom and pop stores, or facilities that people open just to, help their coaches, help their little league team out, help their kid out. They're not there then to make millions of dollars. So
Right.
some
Now,
of
you
them do very well.
You have financing arrangements for
Yeah.
them through banks, things that you've developed, relationships you've developed over the
Yeah.
years. Was that
Mhm.
was that difficult to do, or once they were fine, happy to do it?
No,
If
I
the person
mean,
qualified, they didn't care, right?
they don't care. Yeah. They're making money off it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I just thought of something when you said something, and then I jumped in with another question. Did you? Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. So in terms of strategic planning, are you working on? I mean, it's maybe something you can't tell me, but are you working on anything new that's like complementary to this one product, or that's it? The company sells this machine, and that is it.
Yeah. Right now we're working on basically making our current machine better because it
Mhm.
only came out, 4 or 5 years ago. So we got to finalize that, and make that 100% before we're going to look to the next machine.
Yeah.
But we also came out with a pitching simulator a few years ago too that shows a video image of a right hand, a left hand batter, and a catcher, and you throw into it. So it's a cool product. We haven't really marketed it really that well because the hitting machine sells a lot better, but I think I want to work on that. And also, I want to work on selling more to high schools because the first 15 years of business, I think we sold to one high school. In the past 3 years, we sold to like 20 high schools, 25 high schools.
This point, is that why?
Yeah, price points. Yeah, and a lot of them have indoor facilities now, booster clubs,
Right.
donors. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that I have on my plate that I want to get done before we look to develop another product. But I'm sure we will soon. Not
Yeah.
soon, but soonish. And actually, we are making a revision on our current machine. Right now, we use castings, right, that hold the motors in
Uh-huh.
place. They're very expensive. The lead time is kind of ridiculous. They have to get machined. So now we're going to go back to sheet metal machine. So that's going to be a lot easier for production and cost wise. So just kind of modifications in the current model, basically.
So the machine is like cast iron or cast something, and then
Yeah.
you want to go sheet metal instead?
Yeah. Sheet metal is just a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper.
Right. The machine just folds it up and makes it into whatever you need to make it to. It's still
Yep.
sturdy, right? I mean, this stuff's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
sturdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So is pitching a big thing at these training facilities? I mean, there's just as many people training pitching as are batting? No, it can't be because it's only one pitcher. And
Yeah,
not
not as many, but a lot of the pitchers don't always have catchers to throw to, so they can throw to our simulator. But also,
right.
we used to sell a decent amount of machines for the concourse of stadiums just for fun for the fans to use.
Ah,
And the speed pitch thing, I want to sell that to to the concourses again. Maybe get a sponsor on it, like the Pepsi ProBatter Challenge or something like that.
go and throw. It's a
Yeah,
speed. Yeah.
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 Also, our video screen is essentially a big TV screen, so I want to start doing more advertisements on that and work with like Rawlings or an Easton or something like that. They can run ads on our video screen between rounds or logos or, introduce a new baseball bat for these players. Or so I think we have a lot of stuff that we have to do before we,
Yeah.
you know, we look to expand to the next model.
It sounds like you got another 25 years ahead of you. It's a lot. It's not like you saturated the market. There's nothing else to sell. It's not even close, right?
Yeah, not even close. That's right.
Exactly. All right. Well, at this point, I usually ask the the guest, like, what would they do differently? What advice they have some people, but you've given a lot of that during the show. I don't know if you have anything to say about anything looking back you would do differently. But I think you've given advice about staying power and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah, you got to keep at it and you just work. Not every day is gonna be a good day.
Right.
But it's like a roller coaster. All small businesses, and just keep at it and work, and you'll find the diamonds at the end of the path.
Right. Well, we're going to put some links in the show notes, but if people want to learn about you, are you on LinkedIn? You have a profile on LinkedIn?
I
or
am.
anything?
Yes. Yep. It's Adam Battersby.
We'll put a link in the show notes. And to learn about the product, we'll put the link. What's the website?
It's ProBatter.com.
Okay. Is there a video on there people can watch and see? Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Yep. There's also, if anyone wants a video or pictures or pricing, you can just call our office at 203-874-2500, or there's also a link on our website to get additional information.
Okay, good. We'll put that all in the show notes. And Adam, I can't, you got the perfect last name for the perfect business that you're in. And I can't, thank you enough for coming on, spending some time with me on a Friday, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. And thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Accidental Entrepreneur. Opening and closing music written and performed by Howie Moskovich and made to order music. For information about Howie and his music services, please follow the link in our show notes. If you like the podcast, please tell others about us. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and most of the other podcast directories. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review and feel free to share our episodes on social media. If you have any questions or comments, ideas for the show, or you'd even like to appear as a guest, reach out to us by email at info@beinackerlaw.com.
The Accidental Entrepreneur is hosted by Mitch Beinacker and produced by Beinacker Law. If you'd like to learn more about our business and legal services, you can find us on social media or visit our website at beinackerlaw.com. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe to our feed to be notified of all future episodes.